So today's topic is about follow-up, and we like to call this follow-up short of stalking, because are we doing our jobs if we aren't absolutely and completely stalking our customers? I don't know how many of you get so into your follow-up that you feel like you are, stalking people, or, you're on social media going after them, you're watching their every move. If you have them in a portal, or you're just trying to track them as much as possible because you want to be able to connect with them, whether it's on something they're talking about or something they're looking at. But there is a method to the madness. There is that fine line of constantly keeping up with your customers, being front of mind, but also not driving them absolutely berserk, because even as realtors, we know we get sold to all the time. And how many phone calls do we get a day from the same person trying to sell us health insurance, trying to sell us on a website, trying to sell us anything? You don't want to be that person, but you don't want to be forgotten. So we're going to try to find that fine line today and figure out how we can become a customer's best friend, best resource, and not bother the heck out of them at the same time. Most people lose their customers or potential customers for lack of follow-up. It's one of our, as realtors, one of our biggest flaws, I think we could all say. And it's really frustrating at the end of the day, especially if it's not just one of your leads or your past sales, if it's your friends and your family and they say, "Oh, aren't you so happy I got a contract on a house?" And you're like, "What? I didn't even know you were shopping." So we're going to cover all of the basis today of the different topics, the different types of people you should be following up with, how you're going to do that so that you never have to worry about losing a deal again. So we have lovely memes throughout this presentation today. So I figured I would entertain you on this lovely Thursday.
That's good. I like it.
All right. So this is the face you make when you find out that your friend bought a house from another agent. Like I said, we've all been there, and we want to keep you guys from being this person, because there is nothing more heartbreaking than losing somebody. So first and foremost, getting leads. We're going to talk about leads in general before we move on to like your sphere of influence or people that you've already worked with. NAR and Zillow have done lots of studies, taken lots of surveys from people on their sites and that they've worked with. And consumers nowadays in the mobile industry and with all this tech right at our fingertips, they expect instant responses. They are moving on like this. And if you aren't answering their questions or taking care of them, they don't have any emotional attachment to you or the houses sometimes. So they've studied that the sweet spot is to respond within 2 minutes. That's how you're best going to hook somebody. So if you are getting leads or somebody calls on your house, whether Realtor.com, Zillow, however it is that you're getting leads, you need to be responding to them within 2 minutes. And sometimes, yes, we look like this poor lady on the screen, but we have updated phones, so we don't have a little thing on our face. So trying to not be so crazy all of the time and also be scheduled. There's a sweet spot for that for us as well, not just our customers. So there is a difference between responding to a lead right away and then working on your follow-up. Leads, yes, they do need instant attention, and it's up to you, your personality, and what stress level you can handle of what you're going to structure your program to be. So I know realtors, especially in our office, they obsess over their leads. Like their phone goes off. I mean, even my mom on our team is guilty of it. Her phone rings and like she drops everything and calls that person immediately because she doesn't want to lose them to anybody else. But you've got to find that balance. Like, it may be certain leads get more attention than other leads, and you don't want to drive yourself crazy. But while those leads need very instant attention, your leads that you've had for a while, your sphere of influence, those people, you don't want to spend your whole day just stalking people, following their every move. Every time somebody likes a house, every time somebody, you get a notification that they looked at a house on MLS. If you're obsessing over that, you're going to start wasting time. And that's how you might fall into the pattern of becoming a nag to people. So it's very important. The most agents that are successful find success by time blocking. So they'll respond to their leads right away. They already have a plan. And maybe for you, that might be a already pre-typed out response, whether it's a text message, an email, or a lot of people now are doing videos that you say, hey, I see that you were inquiring on a house. Please reach out to me with any questions. Just an instant response. So if you are out with another customer, you can respond right away without having to put brain power into, okay, what are they looking at? What do they need? You know, if you have a basic response ready to go that you can just send to people that you keep on your phone or you keep in your email database, that'll help you with the instant responses that you need. But then if you time block for following up with people and connecting with people, you have your scheduled time throughout the day, you'll be more productive and you won't waste your time constantly stalking people, and you'll be able to do more money making activities throughout the day. Most realtors are finding success by time blocking their follow-up in the morning. So what you'll want to do is start your day off on a positive. JJ's got her thumbs up. Start your day off on a positive. You know, reach out to your favorite people first and then work your way down. Whether it's an hour to 2 hours, you're starting your day off positively, you're reaching out, then you feel like you've accomplished a lot and you can move forward with whether it's your showing, doing your listing checkups, your marketing, all of your other things. Really try to get a schedule together. A lot of agent follow-up is about being self-responsible, and it's very hard. That's our whole job, right? We wake up every morning jobless and we have to go out there and create business. We don't punch a time clock. We're not guaranteed anything ever. So you have the same thing that you need to, the same structure you need to think of when it comes to lead generation and lead follow-up. Just because you pay for leads does not mean that you are guaranteed those closings. Just because you have friends or family looking for homes does not automatically mean they're going to choose you. You have to stay front of mind and you have to do this consistently. There are times in my past business, and I'm sure a lot of people who have been in the industry for a while can even agree to this, where I've been really good with follow-up, but you know, we were doing really, really good, having a lot of deals. And so I slacked off for a month while I was closing deals. Well, you know what happened that next month, the following month after? Completely no closing. You have to keep consistent, keep your schedule, or you are going to have a roller coaster of business. It'll be up and down and up and down. So your best success is to time block and put together your schedule of how you want to follow up with people. Another important thing for these days is each customer can be different. Yes, you should have a plan of action in place for what you're going to do with your buyers, what you do with your sellers, and how you obtain these relationships with new customers. But each customer will still be treated different because some people, all they want to do is text. I mean, guilty. I'm a millennial. I hate picking up the phone. I'd rather order my pizza on the lovely Domino's app that they made just for us, because if I have to pick up that phone, I'm probably just going to eat ramen noodles, right? But then you have people who just love to talk on the phone and they want to talk your ear off and they would just chat with you all day. And if you text them, gosh, they couldn't even say, yeah, Troy's got his hand up. But you text them and they're like unresponsive and they can't figure it out. You have people who love email, but then you have people who, oh, I have an email address, but I don't even know how to get to it. So when you're structuring your plan, you'll have scheduled responses, but how you talk to each person is going to change. All of your conversations that you have pre-planned might all be going through text messaging. All of your follow-up that you have pre-planned might be a phone call instead. What's important is it is no longer about what your preferences are. It is about what your customers' preferences are. If you hate picking up that phone, I'm sorry, hon, you're in real estate. You got to get over it. You got to pick up that phone. You've got to be able to text people. You've got to be able to email people. You've got to be able to keep up with what everyone wants. That's going to be your most important piece of information to take away from this, is getting down on the customer's level, meeting them where they want, and communicating with them how they want. So this lovely me, when I hear someone talking about real estate, I think this is all of us. We get so excited. We're like, real estate? What? Who's buying? You know, I'm a realtor. Even if it's a room full of realtors, we all make the joke of, I know a good realtor. You know, we're all guilty of it. So this should be you, whether it's your friends, your family. If somebody's talking about real estate, you should always have cards on you. You should always be ready to have that friendly conversation with somebody. But at the same time, you need to keep in mind, just here in Southwest Florida, our association has over 7,000 members, and they all have this same face. So how many of your friends, how many of your family members or your past customers who you sold a house to 5 years ago, how many of them are surrounded by realtors that are ready to grab them right from you, who are this excited? If you're not this excited and you're not keeping in contact with them, this hungry little dog will get your customers, your family, and your friends. So it's very important to keep enthusiastic and keep up with them, because there are a lot of hungry realtors out there ready to take away your potential business. Now, it's not a dog eat dog world out there, and that's not what I want to start with. There's plenty to go around for everyone. But it's important to remember, just in the blink of an eye, if you're not keeping up with your customers, somebody who is so eager and hungry, will be there for them when you're not. So the basics of what you need for a good follow-up program, this is kind of the basics, right? This is when you're starting out. So you want a program for buyer leads that are unresponsive, right? So this would be a program that would be based on trying to get their attention, trying to get them to answer at all, and trying to make that relationship. Once you have a buyer lead that you've talked to, you do kind of have a connection with, whether they're buying in 2 years or now, depending on how detailed you want to get, you can have something that is like, for people who are ready to move now, people who are ready to move in 2 years. But you need different types of conversations for people that you've already started connecting with, that continues to strengthen that relationship. Because if you get a lead and then you call them right away, they answer and they say, oh yeah, we're ready to move in 3 months. And you're like, that's great. Just call me, whenever you're ready. They're not going to call you. They're going to call whoever they click on the next Zillow ad when they're ready to go look at something. So continue to talk to those people. There are also follow-up programs for FSBOs. So this would be about generating some more new business. We all love waking up in the morning, drinking our coffee, opening the window, and seeing right across the street that there's a for sale by owner. And you're just like, why? What are you doing? What are you doing? So it's good to have a program of educational pieces for sale by owner, for sale by owners. That makes great English. And helping them understand why they need a realtor and why they need you specifically. Wow, guys, I'm on a roll today with this coffee and my mouth. So expired listings as well. If this is a niche that you're going to go after, it's important to have a structure for expired listings. A lot of realtors join expired programs where they get the numbers, and every morning they wake up at a god-awful hour of 6 a.m. and they call and they call and they call. But nobody wants to answer on that day. They're getting 100 phone calls. They hate realtors at this point, and goodness gracious, they're probably going to write about it on Facebook, and you don't want your name in that. And it is important to call on the first day, because there is a chance that they might list with you. But how many realtors are continuing to contact them on the 5th day, on the 10th day, on the 30th day, especially right now where there's so much going on? And let's be real, it's Florida. There's always something going on. They might have just taken their home off the market, let it expire, and they need to breathe for a moment. And they are probably likely to relist in 30 days. But everybody called them on the first day. So now they're out there shopping alone. If you have a program, you're following up with them regularly, you stay in front of them, it's very likely that they're going to relist with you. Now with expired listings, I am going to show you an example of a program and letters that would be just to mail them. And that's kind of like the free version of it. And I say free like this because yes, you do have to pay for postage. But if you do want to pay for a program where you can get phone numbers and emails and stuff like that, you can take these letters and turn them into emails and phone calls instead. You also need a program for farming new areas. I think this would be the most important for new realtors. You get your license, you're so excited, and you're like, where do I start? Where are the customers? When do I sign a contract? So if you're not buying into a lead program right away, you need to start farming areas, whether that's your neighborhood, because you want to be like the known, friendly neighborhood realtor, Sally over here, or if you have a specific community that you like to go after, a condo, or any kind of community, you can start to farm that area in specific. And we see a lot of new realtors when they start out, they get so excited and they send out like a postcard to everybody, and then you sit back and wait. For new customers in an area that you're farming, they need just as much follow-up and just as many reminders that you're a realtor and to come to you, because they're not always ready to sell right now, but they might be in 3 months. Or you might plant that seed they throw your card away because they're like, I'm not interested. And they throw your card away, and then they think about it, and then they think about it. And then they go on Zillow, they see how much their house is worth. And then they choose that top agent, and they list their house in a month because you sent them a postcard. They realized they had a lot of equity in the home, but there was no follow-up, so they totally forgot your name. Happens all the time. Another great program is a realtor referral program to put together. So if you're, this is kind of, based on your character, what kind of business you want to do. So if you have realtors that you've connected with from other areas, it's important to follow up with them. If they have customers that are coming down to our area, so that you can share business. This could be something just as simple as a bi-monthly newsletter about what's going on in our area with statistics. I'm from up in the New England area, so I like to connect with the realtors up there because a lot of people from up there are moving down here. And if they can send me a lead for 30%, and I always like to put that on the letters that I send them as well. I pay 30% referral fees. So that the next time somebody says, oh, moving to Florida, they say, oh, I've got somebody. Let me get that information. It's important to keep up with them as well. If you want to get more into that, we've had an entire class on networking before, but you can join groups like Women's Council of Realtors where they connect all across the country. And they're very big on sending referrals. If that's something you really want to dive into, give JJ a call. She's really good at networking. She knows everybody across the country. I swear every time somebody calls in and they say, hey, I've got some customer that wants to move to some random city, JJ says, oh, I know somebody. Hold on a second. So you want to be that person. Also, your sphere of influence referrals. It's not just about getting referrals from realtors, but who in your sphere of influence knows somebody, so this would be a secondhand relationship, that wants to move. Your brother's best friend's cousin. They could be talking about real estate. Your cheerleaders around you need to be reminded that you are a realtor. And anytime somebody else is talking about real estate, they instantly should think, oh my gosh, yes, I know a realtor. You should totally call them. So it's important to also, if you think they're never going to buy a house, like if your grandmother, your mother, or who knows, and they're like, no, I'm never ever moving, and they're not moving, okay, they still need to be marketed to, because if they forget, they're going to send their friend to another realtor, and there's more lost business. Also, your past customers. This is the biggest place where we see lost business. They say there's a statistic that there's a huge amount of people who buy their home do not relist with the realtor who sold them their home. And you want to know why? They forgot who they were. They don't remember you. You're not that important to them. I hate to say that, but unless you're reminding them or providing something to them, whether it's a newsletter with information regularly, about what's going on in the community, unless you're in front of them regularly, and 5 years, they're not going to have held on to your business card. So it's important to also follow up with them. From there, those are your basics, but what's your niche? What type of customers are you going after, and what information do they need that you can regularly contact them about? Are you going after investors specifically? If you are, can you provide them? They want to see market stats. They want to know what's going on in the commercial side, and how that's affecting each pocket of Southwest Florida. These are things you can send to them regularly. But, are you going after lawyers? Are you going after doctors? Structure your material for whatever your niche is after you get through these basics. Okay, so what is your system going to be? You're thinking, oh my gosh, this is great, but where do I get it? How do I start? So if you have a CRM, this is kind of like the basic. It's the most important thing to have. You can get something that is practically free. You can pay lots of money for one. But within those systems, they have a lot of pre-made material. So you don't even have to think about what letters you're going to type up to people, what text messages you're going to send people. And some of it's automatic. So you don't have to remember on that 5th day to email somebody who didn't answer. And then on the 10th day to text them. You can find systems that will do this for you. At the same time, if you're OCD, controlling, or don't have money, you can be self-sufficient. So being self-sufficient is not a negative thing, because let me tell you, every time I join a program, I end up doing a lot myself, and that's just because I'm controlling, and that's fine. So being self-sufficient means, putting together your own program, having things typed up and saved somewhere, and just texting people yourself, emailing people yourself, and obviously we have to make phone calls ourselves, whether we're in a CRM or not. but there's no problem with doing that. As long as you take a day, take a week, whatever, how long it'll take you to set a program up so that you're not reinventing the wheel every single time you go to send somebody a follow-up email. Google Suite is a great way to be kind of self-sufficient. You can pay for the upgrade, which isn't as much as a CRM would cost you. I'm not going to go very far into that. Angie just did a great class for us on CRM and Google Suite. So if you want to go to YouTube and check that out, you can. MailChimp. Yeah, exactly. Troy and Candy make a guest appearance. So MailChimp is another great program, which is free. It's more of an email system. So if that's like the route you're taking, you can preset up emails. You can do your regular newsletters through there. That's just something that's going to help you with your follow-up. Dial is a great program if you've never heard about it. Kind of creepy. It's where you can dial right into people's voicemails. So if you're doing a lot of follow-up and you're on a roll, what you can do is, or if you hate talking to people, which if you're in real estate, you really should like talking to people, but if you don't have time for it or you hate it, you can dial right into their voicemail, leave them that voice message that you need to leave them, and then have them call you back later. It'll save you a lot of time, or it can save you a lot of anxiety if you don't like picking up the phone. And then there's a lot of programs out there, whether you have Android or iPhone, for scheduling your text messages. So if you are a person who would rather time block your whole Monday for follow-up and schedule your text throughout the day, schedule your emails throughout the day, those are great programs to take use of. Or even, especially if you are doing the time block every morning, I don't think reaching out to your customers like first thing, 7 a.m. with a phone call or a text message would make them happy if they like to sleep in. So you can schedule your text message for a little later in the day. The slide dial is great for that because you can put their voicemail in and they can get to it when they get to it. So these are just a few features that are going to help you with your follow-up. So there are so many places where we can get material. That's where people struggle the most after it's the initial phone call of, hey, I'm a great realtor, here's why, and here's what I can do for you. We're all kind of lost after that point. You want to call them and you're constantly just saying, oh, are you looking at property? Oh, did you find anything? So that's where we've got to work on finding more material for reasons to contact them, right? So in app files, we're going to go out there in a second and I'll show you where it's at. We've got all kinds of marketing files with drip campaigns. So if you don't have a CRM that comes with letters, or maybe there's a certain campaign you don't like in your CRM, you can use ours. We've got lots of pre-formatted letters and text messages for you guys. My undercover agent, Carrie, is in our office and she's created this big program. I don't know if any of you guys came to our reveal party, but they are still up and running through everything, and they've got a free 30-day trial. Now, there's so much that this program does that we have a class on it this month coming up. Kari's hosting a class for us, so you can come to that to find out more. But one of the things in there is it's got a lot of local information. They've got regular articles and just all kinds of info. So, and it's made for you to use. So if you're trying to follow up with people from out of state, and you want to keep them up to date on what's going on down here that's fun and exciting, you can use that material. Or if you have past sellers that you're trying to keep up to date with and you're doing a weekly newsletter of what to do locally, what's going on this weekend, what kind of festivals are going on, that is also accessible in My Undercover Agent. And if you want in on the program, like I said, it's free for 30 days. I don't know what it costs after that, but go ahead. Kari's email is right there if you want to sign up with her. Also, list reports is provided to us by Tracy Van Lanschut. She just did a class on this last week as well. So you can go back on YouTube and watch it. But if you want to sign up for list reports, it's completely free. There's never just a 30-day trial or anything. It's completely free because it's provided to us from Tracy. There is a lot of things, again, that this program does, but it also has material out there that you can use to send to your customers and follow up with them and touch base with them. And it also has lots of great material for social media. House Logic articles. We have talked about this a lot during our blogging and social media classes. They are provided by our lovely NAR association. There's lots of articles you can dig out of there and make it into a newsletter and blast out to all of your customers, your past customers, your potential customers, everything. You know, maybe it's, if you've got people sectioned out by seller and buyer, you know, you can send your seller something on curb appeal. You can send your buyers something on finance. and working on credits. There's a lot of options out there, and it's great material. Makes you look brilliant, really. So also Florida Realtors and National Association of Realtors. Both of those websites, you can write them down if you want, or you can just Google Florida Realtors infograph, NAR infograph, go to floridarealtors.org, go to nar.realtor, search around on their site, because not only are these infographics great, but they have a lot of articles. They have a lot of material. If you're at a loss for what you can talk to your customers about, dig around on there, because it could be something that is time relevant, and it could be something that is just real estate relevant. They've got great infographics, obviously, but you also want to be sending people articles and things like that. So I know as realtors, this is just kind of everyday knowledge to us, or everyday topics. But to our customers and our sphere of influence, it's not. They don't pay attention to real estate sometimes, unless you have investors. They constantly pay attention. But, you know, our people who bought a house 3 years ago, they don't know that they have, you know, that it's a seller's market, and that they could have a lot of equity in their home right now, and these different things. So we can remind them of that with Florida Realtors and NAR. Do you guys have any questions so far before I take you out to some of these sites? No. Okay, dokie. Okay. So in our app files, and if anybody's watching this and they're not with Jones & Company, just ask your company for their drip campaign letters. Every company should be providing you with some basic marketing materials for their new agents or their seasoned agents that need updates. So in our Jones & Company Realty app files, you can use the search button here, or you can come down to your agent resources and go to marketing and technology. We separated it out from the regular resource file so that it's going to be easier for you guys to use. So we've got lots of drip campaigns right here. If you use the search bar, just type in drip campaigns or whatever subject you're looking for. We're also adding a bunch more this week, which is very exciting. So we're going to go ahead and go with, I'm just going to show you the buyer relationship builder. So you can see here, there's the initial email, 10 days together, 20 days together, 30 days together, 45 days together. So if you're being self-sufficient, you can you can keep these on your computer ready to go. And when I was operating on my own, what I did was plug this into my calendar. So I put, you know, if I talked to a customer, the initial email went out right away. And then I put in the calendar 10 days from now, we need to send out 10-day letter to Sally Buyer. 20 days, you know, 20-day letter to Sally Buyer, different things like that. Or you can use Boomerang for free in Google, and you can schedule out your emails for the week. You can, or for a customer completely, or use any of the other programs we talked about. So these are just pre-formatted letters that you can use, and it just helps concrete that relationship, like what you do for them in the transaction and why they need a realtor. So these letters just continue to educate them. They're different each time, and it updates them. You know, we're 10 days into this process with each other, things like that. If we come back here and we look at the farm area one, there's a lot here. So we've got letters that last you the whole year, because nobody's going to be, you know, you could catch a few flies with your initial letter, but like I said, you need to continue to follow up with them. When these are very cold leads, they might not be ready to move right away, and it could take potentially a year. So, and from there, you know, with these letters, if you have purchased into programs that provide you with phone numbers and have provided you with email addresses, any of these letters could be formatted into your conversation topics on the phone, or emailed instead of physically mailed out, really. These are just your ideas and like the structure of topics of, you know, where people's brains go. And so you want to be right there with them each step of the way. So from there, you guys can come out here and play around, look at the letters we have. There's schedules for some of them. This one has the drip campaign schedule because it's only 2 emails, but it also has text messages in here, and it tells you when you should call people. And a lot of this is from several different CRMs or production companies that have done lots of studies of what consumers want at what step in the game. So there's a lot of research into what's in there. They're just not just, you know, silly willy letters. There's really a lot of purpose behind why each conversation is the way it is, and why the timing is the way it is, and why it's important to Also text, call, and email. Like we said early on, it's important to figure out how they want to be contacted and stick with that. So if you're trying to get a buyer lead to answer and you've texted them and you've called them and you've emailed them and they only responded via text message, what does that tell you? They want to be texted. So the rest of those conversation pieces can be via text message. And if you're not getting anybody to respond with this new day and age, we're seeing a lot of people reach out on social media, go after them on social media. You got to get to their playing field, message them on Facebook or anything that you can do, but just make sure you space it out so that it doesn't seem like you're immediately stalking them, right? Because we're going to follow up short of stalking. So this is the House Logic website. You can log in here with your NERDS number, your last name, and instantly access a plethora of topics. Do keep in mind, though, that this is provided by NAR. So some of these topics could be very northern and not Florida related. So during the winter, don't send your customers, unless you're marketing to the northern people, you don't want to be sending them things on how to prepare for snowstorms, because we don't worry about that here. So just be careful about the content that you look for. But again, as I stated earlier, if you come out and you use our good old friend Google, and you Google NAR infograph or Florida Realtor infograph, because you can use both. They've got different material. It'll bring you right to this, and you can choose out different topics. So right now it's pending home sale snapshot. We've got foot traffic. They've got a lot of stuff about COVID lately too. So if you're looking to try and kind of ease your customers as we're all heading into what seems like a very crazy season and people are out buying, and you've got customers that are like really nervous, but they want to buy, but they're really nervous. Lots of stuff out here. And again, so we can Google Florida Realtor infograph, and all of this is for us to use. You're not going to get any kind of copyright issue if you use this info, because it's there for us for a reason. So Florida Realtors, I tend to like their infographics a lot more because it's locally driven. We're trying to sell them on that Florida lifestyle and what we have going on. So you can see here what to expect during a remote closing, because these are all very time relevant. They come up in order of the newest to the latest. So we've got the property showing safety rules, all the COVID stuff. But then if you continue to scroll, we've got 10 most common flaws found during a home inspection. This is great if you want to send it to your sellers so that they can pre-prepare. This is great. It says, yes, you can buy a house now. So for your people who don't think they can buy a home or are scared because of COVID and they don't think they can buy right now, that'll help put them at ease. Lots of great things out here though. So you can download these infographics, and you can go ahead and share them with your customers on a regular newsletter, or you can text it to them if you're trying to keep in conversation, whether it's your buyer or your seller or anything like that. And it'll just help add in a piece to the puzzle. You want to keep up with those letters, but you also want to be a little bit entertaining and not sound like a robot. So it's very important to go through whether you're using a CRM's letters or you want to use ours that we've provided for you. You do want to go in and personalize them a little bit, add your signature and your branding, make sure anything you send out has the Jones & Co. logo so that you don't get in trouble. I can't tell you how many letters I get and it doesn't have the company info on it. That's a GDPR is really going after people lately, so I don't want to see anybody get in trouble. So we've got everything pre-typed out, but make sure you add your branding and our branding on there. So do you guys have anything else that you're struggling with, or any issues in particular, any questions?
I don't think so.
I like all the resources in one place. I know about all of them, but not, sometimes I forget about them, and then I find myself looking for stuff that would have probably been right there in front of me.
Yeah, I will open up that tab really quick again, because I see Crystal just hopped on, so we don't want you to miss out on.
I appreciate that.
No problem. And like I said, it's recorded, so we're going to be putting it up. So this is where we're talking about all of the different resources. I mean, and you can find a lot more out there. Obviously, these aren't like just the only resources, but this is great for us locally. And this is where we've been getting a lot of our information. If you have your own CRM, they provide you with a lot of letters. And I haven't seen any CRM though that has provided with like local information to help create those newsletters of what's going on. So that's where my undercover agent will really, really come in and help and provide you that local sphere.
Is my undercover agent, are they keeping like local events current as things are opening back up? Are they actually doing that? I didn't notice that in there because we have
Oh,
the
do you? Go ahead, JJ.
Are you using My Undercover Agent, Candy?
um I'm using it to find information, but I haven't seen anything where they're like updating it for like what's going on in the community or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not, you mean like local events like
So,
Strawberry Festival in 3 weeks or something kind of
Yeah,
thing?
like, farmers markets opened back up and,
yeah.
things like that.
So
I haven't seen that.
We'll have to
I
find out
talked
who
to,
does their class.
yeah, I talked to Kari, and she's doing a class for us next month. We're going to be sending out our education schedule here soon. But she did say that they were having like a huge relaunch. So that's probably where the issue was. There was a lot of problems with promoting any events or anything going on due to COVID from a legal standpoint. And she might dive into that a little bit more or not, but they are back in full swing. I just talked to her on Tuesday, and they've got all of their data miners back in, and that's what's really important with My Undercover Agent. She's got like 6 or 7 people that are hired that just go out and data mine all day and find information and build information for us to use. So that will provide up-to-date information on a daily basis that they create. But during COVID, because they launched and it was like 2 weeks later we were in this.
Right.
So not sure where their legal issues lie, but I do know that they are going through a relaunch marketing campaign. We've got a class with them next month, and all of that will be rock and rolling and ready to go.
Okay.
Joanna, is that class next month going to be in person or a virtual?
She's doing virtual, and she's hosting it, so it'll be a different link. I don't know if they're using Zoom or GoToMeeting, but
That's
it will
fine.
be virtual, so you can attend.
I know, I'm very excited. That's wonderful.
But Candy, you might want to reach out to her specifically, just directly and ask her those questions
Okay.
in the meantime, because
Yeah.
you're free still, I think. And I think
Yeah, while you're
for you,
free.
Crystal, it's a phenomenal tool because it makes you look like you know everything there is to know about Florida, even though you haven't lived here that long.
It sounds very
Absolutely.
appealing to me.
Yeah, and what I was telling them earlier, it's a free 30-day trial, and then I'm not sure what it costs after that, but again, she's going to have that class next month. And then list reports is always free from Tracy Van Lamshoot. And that's kind of like basic coverage. I don't know that it's very local driven.
But it has some nice infographics and like little daily snippet kind of things.
Yeah, daily stuff for social media is the best.
I think it's a pretty good tool, actually.
Yeah.
And our favorite 4-letter word that begins with F, free.
Free, yeah.
That's what we try to dig up. So everything on there on our list today is free except for My Undercover Agent, but it's just such a wow program. You can't leave it out. There's just a robust choice of information. So do you guys have any other questions? JJ, you have anything to add in there? Anything?
No, I think you did an absolutely phenomenal job. You hit all the little buttons and everything else, and you guys are already doing stuff. I just hope it kind of stimulates your creativity.
Sure.
And if you discover a program or something that's really cool that works, that's what we try to do here, is share with everyone. So let us know. Also, May is virtual open house month. Are you guys doing any this weekend?
We're actually doing an open house a real open house next weekend.
Okay. Are you going to go live at Facebook with it?
I have considered that. We haven't made that plan yet. It's a vacant house, so I think we could probably, do that.
Watch party. I think you might get a little extra traction on it. And does that count as a quote unquote virtual if they wanted to put it on the virtual open house site from the board, Joanna?
Yeah. So what we're seeing right now is they did make it available that you can do live open houses on the MLS, but a lot of people are kind of doing a mix of both, because at this point it's up to the customer and what they want to do. And again, you want to try to hit every personality. So especially where you guys are a team and you've got 2 people, what we're seeing is people are hosting like a virtual live open house 30 minutes before their real open house, and they're doing their video, and they're getting a lot of traction because it'll be put on MLS, fed out to all the sites, Facebook, all of that for the people who don't want to come out. And then you're already there. So you go out, you put your signs up, and you invite everybody in. I mean, now that we've got this virtual world, it's almost like you've got 2 ways to market the home rather than just putting your signs out. So
It's
whether,
better.
you know, whether you're okay with seeing people or not, again, just, it's the same as with the follow-up. It's on their terms, not your terms. So if they don't want to come out and see people, you're missing that opportunity.
Good idea. Well, since we have till next Saturday to get this figured out, I think we could probably put something together on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys could market it out, put a video together, and then put signs out.
Right.
There you go.
Just a little
And
bit
if
more
you're
for
looking
your
for marketing
play.
ideas as well, June 14th is Flag Day. You know, you've got all your stuff from Memorial Day. June 14th, Flag Day is always a really huge, good event. I know you had flags in your little wagon for Memorial Day. It's so
We did
cool
about
to
two-
pass
about
out
250.
to the restaurants like before. With my
Right.
partner, I say, can I decorate your tables in the restaurants? And a lot of them will let you do that. I mean, they've only got 25% or 50% now, but hey, it's a thought.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if you guys don't, oh, go ahead, Crystal.
You said you recorded this. I apologize. I was teaching my own classes all morning and I was going to hop in and see what I had left. Where are you posting it when it's recorded?
YouTube.
Perfect. Thank you.
YouTube, and it'll probably be up by tomorrow. So I will send you a direct link as a reminder.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
No problem. We've all got busy schedules, and I'm glad to see everybody's out doing business, and you know, we're rocking and rolling and kind of getting back into that groove. So, but I'm still absolutely happy to see all of your lovely faces on here. So
Thank
I'm
you so
gonna go
much for all that
ahead.
you do.
Oh, thanks, Crystal. So
Great class. Bye.
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 Bye. See you later.